Hi, Sylvie. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you on today.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura, for having me.
So, this is an exciting conversation and quite unique for the Well Adjusted Mama podcast because even though we share a lot of holistic, integrative options for women and children, we've never focused on the topic of cancer, and that's what you're going to share with the audience all of the science and research that's out there and available that I really want my listeners to know about. So, if you want to just start off with sharing a little bit about your personal story of how you got into this world.
Sure. So I am the daughter, granddaughter, great-granddaughter of scientists, and growing up, my father was a PhD in molecular biology at the Pasteur Institute in Paris, France. It's, let's say, a French equivalent of NIH, more or less. And he was the first scientist to look at the in France, to look at the environment as a cause and solution to cancer. Back in the 60s, 70s, everybody in the scientific world was looking at the genome, which has just been discovered by Watson and Crick, as a solution to everything. Everything was going to be explained and cured with a genetic approach and
Mm.
make a lot of money along the way. And my father said, well, if cancer was just a genetic disease, there would be a stable number of cancer. If we are seeing an increase in the number of cancer, it means something else is triggering the genes. Something else is happening. And he looked at the environment and the environmental toxins, and he made the observation that the environmental toxins affect our DNA in a way where cancer DNA, the two strands of the DNA are not well kept together anymore. Whether you look at plant extracts, at plants, animals, humans, when a cell turns cancerous, the double helix, the two helix are not well kept anymore together. There are there are big loops, and the hydrogen bonds, which are supposed to keep together the two strands of the DNA, have broken. And from there, he studied a number of environmental toxins to see how they affected the DNA and the rate of duplication of the DNA. And he found a number of toxins that he said are cancerogens because they increase the rate of synthesis of cancer DNA. And he found a number of plant extracts which are doing exactly the opposite. They inhibit selectively, and that's a very important operative word, selectively the duplication of cancer DNA without any effect on healthy DNA.
Mm.
And under the microscope, you can see, because those plant extracts happen to be naturally fluorescent, you can see that the light invades cancerous cells but stays around healthy cells without penetrating them.
Mm.
So that means he had plant extracts that were effective on all different kinds of cancer cells, because you start thinking of lung, prostate, ovarian, doesn't matter anymore. You are thinking on cancerous cells whose DNA is open and destabilized, that are going to be targeted with those plant extracts. And you have also plant extracts with no toxicity, no side effects, since they do not penetrate healthy cells. You are going to naturally eliminate the extract within a matter of hours if you do not have cancerous or precancerous cells.
Mm. That is so fascinating and very different from like an allopathic treatment for cancer.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my father published everything. He left actually 133 peer-reviewed papers, and he had a huge following of doctors in France back in the 80s, 90s. And then early 90s, François Mitterrand, the French former president, was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. The surgeon said he's not going to finish his second term. The cancer has spread everywhere. We are going to give him some morphine and prepare the country for early elections. But
Wow.
Mitterrand had a mistress. And the mistress knew of a good doctor who had good results on prostate cancer by using my father's products. And that's how Mitterrand started to take the products. And as we know, was able to finish his second term. And everything was going well as long as Mitterrand was taking the products. But after he finally passed away, within a matter of months, the government sent the army to destroy my father's work and the laboratory. They came with machine guns, with dogs, with an helicopter circling over the laboratory, and they told my father to stay there. And they came with hazard mats, SWAT team with hazard mats, and they sent a gas in the laboratory. And 2 months later, he was diagnosed with advanced myeloid leukemia.
Who was your dad?
My dad.
Oh my God.
So I was growing up. I mean, our apartment was invaded with sick people who were coming and crying because I'd been diagnosed with cancer, and they were coming back after that with flowers, chocolate. So I knew that my parents were helping a lot of people, but as a little brat, I was like, I am never going to be involved when I grow up. I don't want to be surrounded with sick people. Health is not my thing. I will go to law school. And so I was a legal foreign associate in a New York law firm when I learned over the phone by calling my parents that both of them had been arrested.
Oh my God.
And yeah, and the
This is
first,
like a soap opera, Sylvie.
yeah. You have even more details in my book, by the way, Winning the War on Cancer. This is a short version.
Mm.
But I decided to take care of course, of my parents' legal defense. And it was so skewed against them. And the judge would not give a day in court to my father, who was dying with advanced leukemia. Finally, I took the case to the European Court of Human Rights. We won an unanimous case. And then the day after we won, I realized that was not enough. The most important was not a win in court. The most important was to carry on with a legacy. The most important was to make sure that those products would continue to be available to other people, as I had seen when I growing up, how much, I mean, he had helped people. And I wanted to continue to make that available. So I started the Beljanski Foundation, I mean, the company to make the products available, and soon after the Beljanski Foundation to carry on with the research. I wanted to confirm that indeed those products could work on different kind of cancer cells, work at different stages of cancer,
Mm.
work alone and in synergy with chemotherapies, and go from inflammation to advanced prostate cancer that do not respond to hormonal treatment anymore. And we have confirmed all of that over the years.
Wow.
And now we are at the level of working on cancer stem cells. That's very important, cancer stem cells, because most people have never heard about them,
Right. Well,
because
stem
chemo.
cells are really very limited currently in the United States. They're not FDA approved.
Yes, but I am speaking here of cancer stem cells.
Mhm.
Those cells which are undifferentiated r- are within the tumor and are resistant to chemotherapy. So you go through chemotherapy, the doctor is saying, oh, you are doing well, the tumor is shrinking. And in fact, he is destroying the mature tumor, mature cells, and the embryonic baby cells, the next generation of cells resist, is able to stay in the body for a long time, and eventually may be triggered by something, and then you have the relapse, the cancer comes.
Mm.
So I think that, maybe worse than you have cancer is a little sentence, cancer has come back. When you are exhausted, you have been really damaged by cancer and by the treatment. You have lost your hair, you have lost your job, and cancer comes back, and then you don't know where to turn. And I say, if those little plant extracts, which are non-toxic and can do so much, can also be effective against cancer stem cells when chemotherapy is not destroying them, everybody should know about it
Right.
from day one of diagnosis. You
Mhm.
don't want to wait for this beast to develop feast. You need from day one to address that and make sure that you are destroying all cancer cells, not just the uh, mature one.
Yeah.
So we've did some research with Kansas University Medical Center on pancreatic and ovarian cancer stem cells. And all that has been published and is available on the website of the Beljanski Foundation, beljanski.org. And we saw that we were able to destroy in vitro and in vivo in mice all cancer stem cells. We had no metastasis. All the acids for ovarian cancer stem cells had disappeared. So we just wrapped a new study on breast cancer stem cells, and that's really, really important because uh, uh, breast cancer is a cancer which is killing the most women. 1 out of 6 women diagnosed with breast cancer will eventually relapse and have again another cancer in the 10 years following the first initial diagnosis. And there is, I mean, all of them, 6 out of 6 women are freaking out of the idea that cancer could come back.
Mhm.
So we had a beautiful study on mice
Mm.
that had been injected with breast cancer stem cells. And we can see that none of the treated mice with the paupera and the Revolvia vomitoria extract developed metastasis. So that's going to be the next publication. And now the next one after that, the next research program will be on prostate cancer stem cells.
That is so cool. And do you have published studies using the plant extracts in human studies?
Yes, so it's more difficult to have studies on humans, especially with cancer, because according to the FDA, dietary supplements are not supposed to treat, prevent, diagnose any disease. So you cannot, I mean, have if you are a clinical trial on cancer, of course, I mean, you cannot say you do not have any intent to treat. Otherwise, why would you spend money on this kind of research.
Mm.
We have been able to have a clinical trial at Cancer Treatment Centers of America with little fragments of RNA, which are specific of the bone marrow, of the DNA of the bone marrow, help the bone marrow create white blood cells and platelets. So we had a population who was at the verge of thrombocytopenia, which is a loss of platelets. And but technically they did not have thrombocytopenia. They were just at the verge. They had already been very damaged with a series of chemotherapies in order to arrive at the verge of thrombocytopenia. They were expected to develop thrombocytopenia. They were expected to need transfusion, and none of the patients that were enrolled in the clinical trial developed thrombocytopenia. All of them were able to continue their treatments of chemotherapy. And what we were able to see is that the bone marrow had been kind of protected and was kind of regenerated. And when you stop the chemotherapy, was able to create a normal level of platelets and white blood cells.
Hmm. When your dad developed leukemia, did he take the plant extracts? Did he use his own research?
The French police that says everything.
It was not available for him to use on
But
himself.
was no, that he had spent his life developing those products, and when he needed them, they were no longer available. The French police came and seized everything.
Oh my god. Why was the government so, attacking? What were they afraid of?
Oh, they were, I mean, there is a collusion of pharmaceutical companies who don't want to hear about the products, natural product on which they are not making money, doing
Mhm.
better with less toxicities than their chemical drugs. You have the official doctors who had predicted that Mitterrand was not going to finish his second term and were proven wrong by the doctor from outside the magical circle of the accredited doctors. You had the political class who knew that Mitterrand was not doing well and was starting to make decisions, sign things, and was already preparing the transition, and then there was no transition. I mean, there were a lot of powerful, well-positioned people who were absolutely infuriated, and I think it is a collusion of all those
Mm.
interests that led to my father's demise.
Oh my god. Because, like, if we were talking the United States, then I would not be surprised about, big pharma, being feeling threatened by some plant extracts that are clinically proving to help with cancer and seeing, like, the restriction and block. And unfortunately, we even, I know of doctors here in the States that, mysteriously died, right? This definitely happens. Nick Gonzalez comes to mind here in New York City. So, like, that's a real thing, I actually just kind of
Le
ignorantly thought it was,
n
US only.
No, those pharmaceutical companies are global, and they have the same attitude wherever they feel frightened or
Mm,
see something they don't like. And it's always the same thing. They destroy the man, they destroy the research, they destroy also his reputation. They say it's all quackery until, people just forget about it and give up. What
yeah,
happened with my father is that there was a generation two, and I happened to be in another country that did not think that a young lawyer would change completely the course of her life and devote her life to make sure that this body of knowledge would not disappear.
yeah. Oh my god. It's very brave of you to do that because this is, like you said, there's powerful people that don't want this information to come out.
I know. I have to say that I have been very lucky here in the States.
Mm,
I only speak on behalf of the Beljanski Foundation. We are only speak about the research. I am not trying to push any product, and I am do not pretend that I have a cure for cancer.
right.
No, that's not what I am doing. And I think I mean, seems that when you are respective of the rules, you can still be safe.
Mm. Oh my goodness. So, and I definitely want people to pick up your book, Winning the War on Cancer, because I'm sure it's going to be so much more complete and informative with everything that you're sharing here today.
Yes, I want to say that not being a doctor, I wrote the book like a novel. So you don't need to be a scientist, you don't need to be a cancer specialist to read that. There is no jargon. It reads like an adventure. But at
Mm,
the end of the book, you have learned a lot about cancer, about this natural approach. And at the end of the book, I included the protocols that I received from Dr. Markovich, who was a doctor and friend of my father, and was using very successfully the products in France. So he went cancer by cancer, and what was his recommendation?
oh, like you mean protocols
Yes,
specifically. So that's all found in the book.
yes.
Awesome. So, what else do you want to share about the science that's coming out?
I would like to say a little bit about each extract. So the Pau Pereira is coming from the Amazon rainforest. It was traditionally used for malaria. My father was the first one to see the anti-cancer potential benefit. What is important also beyond the anti-cancer benefit and less known is that it has also antiviral benefits. So my father was able to have a clinical trial at the time in France for HIV because that was AIDS was a big thing in the 80s, and that was very successful. Absolutely no interest, of course, from the government, who had nothing against against AIDS at the time, but they were not interested in with natural solutions. That was clear. Um, but the antiviral benefit has been also seen with not only HIV but also herpes, HPV, the flu, of course COVID.
COVID.
We are not able to do studies, but we had a lot of very good testimonials. And then the Revolvia vomitoria is coming from Africa. The plant is very similar. We go at great lengths to remove the reserpine. For those people who are in Ayurvedic medicine, they know about Revolvia. They know Revolvia can be toxic, but we remove completely the reserpine. So it's just alstonine rich. And alstonine has anti-cancer benefits and is also a very good hormone regulation product. So it helps with infertility. I have been told by a friend doctor who is a gynecologist, when there is a couple with unable to conceive a baby, he good detox for the future dad, the future mom,
Mhm.
and then 2-3 weeks of Revolvia vomitoria intensively to both of them. And unless there is, of course, some mechanical problem, I mean, it helps really. And I remember my father, he had a wall covered of pictures of babies.
Amazing.
Yeah. If you take some, the pill to block hormones and avoid conception, I mean, Revolvia could impair the efficacy
Of the
of
birth control pill.
the birth control pill. Yes, so that's
Mhm.
something to take into consideration. But personally, I had an history of ovarian cyst, fibroids, and all those things. And I have to say that the Revolvia vomitoria alone, just alone, has helped me tremendously for years. For years. And because I was, again, a little brat and not appreciative of what I was doing, having, and I just forgot at some point to take it. And then, of course, after a few years, problems came back.
Mm,
That
interesting. And
my
that's because it was helping to regulate your hormones.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And so everything, yes, cyst, fibroids, it really helped me personally for years. The golden ginkgo, which is very different from the green ginkgo. The golden ginkgo, it means leaves only collected in the fall when they are yellow. So the change of chemistry is reflected in the change of color of the leaf. So when you do an extract of golden leaves, yellow leaves, you are not getting the same alkaloids as when are doing an extract of green leaves. And this one helps with skin fibrosis, which can be very valuable when you are going under radiotherapy of the breast, for example.
Mhm.
It helps recover after radiation, but also surgery. It helps the healing after surgery. And
Specifically, cancer surgery or any surgery?
any surgery, because it will help regulate the enzymes of the liver.
Oh.
And the latest research we have done at Kansas University Medical Center with this golden extract is also showing that it helps regulate angiogenin. So it means angiogenin is the enzymes that had cancer cells create new blood vessels. They need new blood vessels to bring a lot of nutrients so they can duplicate.
Mhm.
And they also need those blood vessels to spread to other organs. So if you inhibit angiogenin, you are starving the cancer cells, and you are spreading also the cancer cells to spread. So that's
Mhm.
also a very positive adjuvant to any cancer treatment.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the little bacteria, the little RNA fragments I already spoke about, that are able to help the synthesis of the bone marrow, and the bone marrow creates a new generation of white blood cells and platelets. And that's something that should be known by everybody undergoing chemotherapy, because it limits a lot the side effects that come with chemotherapy.
Mm. Wow. And those are all the extracts you wanted to share?
That's basically my father's discoveries, and what the Beljanski Foundation has been, I mean, the legacy we have been working with for the past 20 years, and all the studies that we have done over the past 20 years now with American academic institutions have been with those extracts. And it's a gift that keeps giving, because we have continued to have beautiful publications on different stages of cancer, different kind of cancer, again and again. And it's very, very encouraging and positive.
It really is, and I feel like it's providing a lot of hope for people. I know, like, now we have, blood tests, like the Grail, that you can check for all, like, I think 15 different types of cancer. So if someone, like, preventively, they're not symptomatic, gets a test, and maybe it shows, like, stage 0 or stage 1, like, very early stages, then, or really any stage is what it sounds like, that these supplements can be helpful with any stage, but there's options that would even be really non-invasive at the very beginning.
As there is absolutely no toxicity, no side effects. So I mean, you can take, I mean, the RNA fragments, you can take that just, when you feel a little bit under the weather and you want to
Immune support.
support your immune support. The paupera, you can take that just because people who have cancer and take paupera are telling me my tumor, I mean, has shrunk, everything is necrosis, or I am in total remission. But also I do not get, I used to get a cold every winter. I don't anymore.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
So,
so cool.
yeah.
And even people that maybe that have family history of cancer.
Look, over the, I mean, now for almost 50 years, I've been with those plant extracts. I mean, between what I saw when I was living with my parents, and now that I have taken over, I have seen everything. I've seen people who uh, are coming to me and said, "Oh my God, if only I had known you at the time of my chemotherapy, and after, can I start now before, because I don't want that to come back. It was horrible," and so on. We have people who tell me, my family, all the women in my family have cancer, and what can I do in order to avoid that? And I tell them, yeah, you can take the plant extracts on a regular basis.
Mm,
You don't have to take that all year around. You take that 2 or 3 times a year, but the, you have also to learn how to live healthy, and
yes,
not to
that's
be eaten up by
lifestyle.
your bad emotions and bad feelings, because that's what, in the end, I mean, this is physical and emotional toxicity in which we live that make us sick. It's not.
Correct.
eh,
And I
we
yeah, and it's the epigenetics, right? So, like you said, even if you don't have a family history, cancer can pop up if you're bombarded with physical toxins or emotional toxins, which you
Absolutely.
mentioned. So, we have to constantly learn how to detox ourselves physically and emotionally and live as clean and healthy and as toxin free as possible, really, to stay healthy. I have a lot of women listening that are either pregnant or breastfeeding, and unfortunately, sometimes pregnant and breastfeeding moms can also get a cancer diagnosis. So
Absolutely.
what do you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, I, I am not in the business of saying don't do what your doctor is doing. It's really, really important to be comfortable with the doctor and with your choice of treatment. First, if you are not comfortable, if you are just dragging yourself because your mother-in-law has said you have to see this doctor or whatever, I mean, this is not going to work. You have to own your body, own your disease, and you own your choice of treatment. It's your life. It's nobody else's life.
Mhm.
Then you can absolutely incorporate the number of supplements I just spoke about, those plant extracts. You can incorporate them to your treatment if you choose to have conventional treatment. You can share that with your doctor. You can download the publications from the website, bring them to your doctor. If your doctor is open to read them, that's fine. If your doctor is not open to read them, you have two options. You change your doctor, or you just do what you think is right without speaking to your doctor.
Mhm.
Chances are he's going to say, "Oh, you are my best patient. This is miraculous," without trying to understand anything.
Like why?
You are different from the other patients. But what I keep saying at the end of my conferences is that those plant extracts will work at the cellular level. Now, the big thing is, what are you going to do with the time that they are going to give you? They are going to give you time. What are you going to do with this time? And you have to learn what made you sick. You have to be honest, because an honest inventory of what is not working in your life.
Mm.
It may be, your core relationships. It can maybe yourself not forgiving yourself and carrying this burden to the tomb. I mean, literally. And you have to be honest, and try. It can be very, very difficult, but it is the only way to live and to get through uh, what your body is telling you. The cancer is not coming from the outside. It is your own body reacting to something, but it is your own body, it's your own cells, which are get you modified for some reason, and you have to understand what is the reason. And a lot of people, I've met also a lot of people who come to me smiling and say, "Hey, do you recognize me?" And I'm like, Sorry, can you tell me more?" And they say, "Well, I gave you a testimonial 20 years ago. I was going through chemotherapy, and I told you that thanks to the chemotherapy, thanks to your product, had no side effects, no burns, no nausea, no those things, etc. But look here at me, 20 years later, I'm here." And I said, "Did you have metastasis? Did cancer came back?" No, no, no. And they all tell me that thanks to the products, they did not have fear.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
That is so huge, Sylvie.
That's huge. So, just for that, I just tell people, learn about this approach, learn about those plant extracts. They are available, and information is key. Information is the first step.
Right. So if they want to learn more, number one, they can get your book, Winning the War on Cancer.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
You have it there. Okay, by Sylvie Beljanski. And then also they can go to the website, beljanski.org.
Beljanski.org for the research, the Beljanski Foundation, and the research has been made, all the research has been made with plant extracts provided by Maison Beljanski. In one word, maisonbeljanski.com. Maison means house in French,
Ah.
home. And so it is actually we have a little tea room, a building in Manhattan, and
Oh,
it's home.
you have a little place in Manhattan?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I have to I'm in Hoboken, so I have to come and visit.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, Sylvie, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing your wisdom, your inspiration. I think the other thing that I really took from this conversation today is that you literally just got your purpose in life. Like it was just, it was in front of you and you couldn't walk away from that. And that was 20 years ago and you're still on purpose.
And I am so grateful actually for this the opportunity that was given to me to have a life which is meaningful.
So on purpose. So beautiful to witness that from you. Thank you so much.
You.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Sylvie. She is such a wealth of knowledge and information, and I really enjoyed talking to her. You can find out more about her legacy and family's history at masonbiljanski.com. And please check out her book, Winning the War on Cancer, The Epic Journey Towards a Natural Cure. You can also find out in the show notes about a virtual group health coaching session on the Beljanski approach to wellness and protocols. Use code MASON, MAISON. There's also a free chapter link for Winning the War on Cancer, no promo code needed, as well as the free ebook. So, the Beljanski approach to cancer. So, if you want to learn out more, check out the show notes for those resources. And additionally, if you're looking for a functional medicine support from a practitioner who specializes in preconception, fertility, and women's health, then check out my website at drlaurabrayton.com. Go to Become a Patient to find out about my customized program and click the discovery call link to schedule a complimentary 15-minute call with me to see how I can help you experience vibrant health and wellness.